Welcome to the Leading Hope Podcast with Kevin Jack. Your influence will lead people somewhere, lead them towards hope. Everyone has 20 minutes to learn to become a better leader. Make it count.
Welcome to Leading Hope with Kevin Jack. I'm your host, VJ Williams, here with my friend and pastor, Kevin Jack. Thank you for joining us and taking time out of your day to become a better leader. We release a new episode every Wednesday, so we'd love for you to share on social media and bring others along with us on this journey of becoming a better leader. Visit leadinghope.online to get updates and find out more about the Leading Hope community. If you are new to the podcast or haven't yet subscribed, it would mean the world if you did that right now. Also, post about it, rate and review. You will not believe how this helps get this podcast in the hands of so many more leaders like you. Today, Kevin, we start a new series that you have called Leadership Fundamentals. And this is episode 34, and you've titled it Vision I Cannot Wait. What do you got?
So we're starting this new series today, Leadership Fundamentals. And this is our, like Vince Lombardi started every season with, men, this is a football. Like John Wooden, the famed UCLA coach, started every single season with, this is how you put on your sock. This is how you put on your shoe. Like they always brought it back to, these are the entry things you need to know. These are the important things that you can't lose sight of. And so that's what this series is. I find that I'll often go back to books that I've read before and read things that I know that I no longer do.
Yeah.
You go, I know that. I'm just not doing it at all. And that's what we want this to be. If you're brand new to leadership, we want this to be a leadership crash course. And over the next 5 weeks, starting today, we're going to talk about vision and culture and systems and teams and execution. And if you have no idea like what we're talking about when we say culture, this will be a fantastic entry point. For everyone else, I hope this revisits some fundamentals for you and also maybe presents somewhat of an unorthodox look at it, because we kind of want to give at times a contrarian point of view to these common things. So today I want to start with vision. And the reason why I want to start with vision is because I believe that vision is the reason for leadership. Vision is why we need leaders more than anything else. And we'll get to that in just a second. But just to break down some fundamentals within this. So you'll often hear the phrase mission and vision, mission and vision. And here's the distinction between the two. Your mission is why you exist. Your vision is the future you seek to create. Your mission is a statement of purpose. Your vision is your preferred future. To make it real simple, your mission is your why. Your vision is your where. And I've heard like people get confused. What's mission? What's vision? Your mission never changes. Your mission is true to who you are. It's why you're there. Your vision will change. The future you're seeking to create, the where you're seeking to go will change over time. And if I could just say, I honestly believe that clarifying vision is the more important piece. And you may go, why on earth would that be the case? Like when mission never changes, why would vision be more important? Is because I think for many organizations, definitely not all, but I think mission is obvious. Now you may work in a place in which mission isn't obvious at all, and you need to state that, okay? But like, so I'm a pastor. We live in church world. And one of the things that just makes me laugh, I'm not saying it's a bad thing because it's not at all, but how many churches make a big deal about their mission statement? And I just go like, your mission, like you don't really get to decide your mission. You're a church. Like Jesus gave you the great commission. Like the mission is in what he said, to go and make disciples.
Right.
I mean, that's great that you've rephrased it and that you own the language, but that's the mission. That's why you're here. You don't get to decide that. Now, if you're in the business world and you want your organization to exist for a greater reason than simply, hey, we want the cash in to be more than the cash out, then you may need to clarify that. You may need to have a statement of your why, of your purpose. But I really think the far more important, compelling, and inspiring piece is having the vision. So I've heard so many people be adamant on exactly how your vision should be described. And I've heard people give a compelling reason for why your vision should be a paragraph. And other people say why your vision should be a vivid description of the future, and it must be at least a one-page document. And Michael Hyatt came out, and he believes that your vision should be a several-page document with detailed plans in terms of how you're moving into that future. And I'll just leave it as like, man, whatever works for you. Whether it's a paragraph or a page or several pages. But here's the thing that your vision must be, and I'll describe it like this. Vision is the address of the destination that you intend to go to. That's it. Vision is the address of the destination that you intend to go to.
That's good.
When you pull out your Maps app, which I do for everywhere I go so I don't get lost,
Yep.
I put in the address and it shows me this is it. Now, having that address tells me when I'm halfway there, it tells me when I'm there. It tells me when I've pulled into the wrong driveway or taken a wrong turn. Like, that's what the vision does for, that's what the address does for me. It tells me exactly where I'm headed and when I'm not headed the right direction.
Yep.
And so whatever you need to do for your vision to be able to do that, that is what your vision must be. And so I want to walk through three just basic components that you need within your vision. And they all start with the letter C because I'm a pastor. And if I don't have alliteration, then what do I have?
I just started listening more.
So here are the three C's, the three components that you need in your vision. The first one is one we've already spoke on, and that is clarity. Your vision needs clarity. It needs to be clear enough that you know where you're going. And I will add in here, your vision needs to be clear enough that you know what you should say no to that seems like a good opportunity. Because if you are offered opportunities that are outside your vision, those are actually distractions. And if your vision enables you to say yes to everything that comes your way, your vision isn't clear enough. Your vision should force you to say some no's. But I want to say some no's over time. But the reality is your vision should have you saying a lot more no's than yeses if it's that clear in terms of where you're headed. So your vision needs clarity. The second thing is your vision needs commitment. Your vision needs commitment. And there's two fundamental errors to this, and I only hear anyone ever talk about the first one. And the first error is that only you own the vision and you try to create energy behind it on your own. That you decided our organization needs a vision statement, and so I'm going to go back into my office, shut the door, write this well-described paragraph, and then come out and show everyone how great our vision is. That's not going to work. Like, the vision operates for the entire organization. And if only you were part of, like, people can't buy in until they've had the opportunity to pitch it. And so if they haven't been able to offer their ideas, they're not going to own it to the level that they could. And so that is the first error. But here's the second error. And it's the inverse side of that, is that you have such a desire for the vision to be group owned that you fail to lead. And I know this may sound a little odd, but that's where I found myself over time, at different times, is that I wanted the group to own the vision. And so I never really led the process. And I never really offered my own thoughts. I just cultivated what they were saying. And at times I really failed to lead there. And so here's kind of my best practice. And I'll give an example through our church, is that you should have a burden and an idea. Like, you should have a problem that you believe you're seeking to solve and an idea as to where you're headed and why it matters. And you should speak often on the burden and the idea. And then invite people into the process to help clearly craft the destination. So for our church at Be Hope Church, Our vision is we want to be someone's first church. And we say this over and over again, which that'll come into the next C in just a second.
Yep.
But we want to be someone's first church. And the destination is this, is we want to see 1,041 people baptized over a 10-year period. People who are newer to church or were their first church back. We don't want to be just the next church in someone's revolving door of churches. We want people like fresh expressions of faith. This impacts our community. This impacts the health of our community in the future. It changes the dynamic, but the address is really clear. First church, 1,041 people baptized. And there's a longer statement, but that's kind of the subtle piece that we know, hey, this is where we're headed. This is when we're halfway there, we're there, or when we're in the wrong house. And part of where that came from is a big piece of my story and my life is me inviting my friend to church as a teenager and him being bored out of his mind. And me having the crisis moment of going, I feel like my friend has to have a strong relationship with Jesus before he would ever get anything out of church or that church would help his faith. And going, that's not what church is meant to be.
Yeah.
Church is not there for the saved people. Church is there for those who are lost. Church is there for those who are looking in. And so what I did is I didn't dictate. It wasn't my language of first church. And it wasn't my number of 1,041. But I spoke often on why I was here and the problem I was seeking to solve, the burden and the idea that church should be for everyone. And I spoke on it so often that when we actually huddled together to talk about what is our vision, that was already clear. The burden and the idea were already clear. And at that point in time, we were clarifying, crafting language around it, and clearly identifying the destination. So I just want to say, as it comes to commitment, you could easily fall on either side. The one side is you just own it yourself. You did it yourself because it's easier that way, which isn't going to work at all. And we'll talk about that when we get to teams as part of leadership fundamentals. But the second air is that you have such a desire for the vision to be group owned that you fail to lead. So that's the second component. Your vision needs commitment. And then the third piece is that your vision needs communication. Andy Stanley says it like this: vision leaks. Over time, vision leaks. And so you need to figure out ways to say it clearly, to say it consistently, to say it passionately. This has to be connected to your written communication, but oh my goodness, the best way to transfer vision is in person. If people can't sit down with you ever, have conversations, be it a speech or an address or something like that, your vision won't be owned. It gets terrible word for this time. But people catch it in person.
Yeah.
They don't catch it digitally. They catch it in person. And so if they're going to catch the vision, it has to be in person in the same room at some point in time. And so just to kind of recap this before we jump into the conversation, vision is the address of the destination that you intend to go to. That's it. Figure out your way to clarify that because you need clarity, commitment, and communication around vision.
That's man, I've got a lot of notes that I've written down. I've taken some ones that I hope that I'll get to those in just a second because there's some really good stuff that you said there that I think people, these are tweet moments, things you can put in Instagram that will help you remember this particular podcast. I'll get to that in just a second. First of all, tell us who Michael Hyatt is for those who don't know.
Oh, Michael Hyatt, he used to be the president of Thomas Nelson Publishers, and now he's kind of a leadership expert. He produces, I'll just say this favorably, an enormous amount of content. It's incredibly impressive, but he's got enormous experience leading at a high level.
That's awesome. So yeah, that's good to know. And you can look him up. You said this is just a great way to, in your words, explain what vision is. Vision is the address of the destination that you intend to go to. I think that's clever, and it really helps someone understand what vision is. Talk more about how you go about crafting the vision. You spoke a little bit about this, but what are some of the things that you go to look for when you're crafting the vision and who you include in that process to help you? Talk more about that.
So for us, I'll talk church dynamic at first. For us, we included our leadership team, which is a group of about 10 people. I think it was maybe 12 at the time. I wish it was 8. I'm not saying like, oh, there's 4 people in the room. I wish we wouldn't have had. No, like 12 was too many. 8 would have been the right number to walk through that. And we were looking for people who really cared for us about the church, for you care about the organization, and that felt like they had a pulse and their heart was moving in the right direction. And that process, VJ, I love vision. I love vision. That process is painful.
Yes.
Like oh my goodness. Like I can remember over and over again standing at the marker board and having a statement and people being like, well, I don't like that word. I was like, well, I don't like it either, but I can't think of any other words. And so we just went over and over again. And there's some beautiful things that got crafted in language that became part of our culture. Like one of the statements was, our address does not define our footprint.
Yeah.
We're not just staying focused on the area that we're in. We're continuously looking beyond that to do something that is going to be healthy and beneficial to the communities we're a part of. And so while the process is painful, the ownership and the clarity that comes out of it is massively important.
That's fantastic. One of the things that you talked about was, I love the piece that you had in there specifically around the combination of the commitment and how it works with communication. Those two are really tied closely. Obviously, clarity is so important in this structure. The commitment and communication piece. You said the importance of repeating the vision. We talk about the what's the insanity quote? Like if expecting a different result, like you
doing
do
the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result
is insanity. But I don't know what you call this, but doing the same thing over and over again and expecting the same result is how you do commitment for vision.
Oh, that's
you think
good.
about that. You
That's
know what
good.
I mean? Like you want the same result. How do you get it?
Don't expect a different result.
Yeah.
So
by repeating it over and over. And that's something, talk more about how important, because you've talked about this as a powerful practice to connect every meeting to the vision.
Yeah.
And it's the same concept. It's repeating it. Talk about that.
That's one of the things that we just do within our organization, a practice that we're working on developing right now, is to go, every meeting should be focused not on the administration of the organization, but it should lead to the vision of the organization. And so we want to start every meeting with a statement of purpose connected to the vision. So when we start a meeting, we go, hey, this is why we're here. I had a developmental meeting today. We're working through a book on leadership. And so I start the meeting within this and I say, hey, this is why we're here. I'm trying to give us another narrative of what it looks like to lead within our ongoing goal of empowering passionate people to live out their purpose, so that when we look at what it looks like to lead, we can move into this more fully as we're seeking to be someone's first church.
Yeah.
So I go, I've removed all ambiguity as to why we're there. This is why we're here. This is how that's connected to the vision. Let's go. 30 seconds.
Yeah, and it's so important that you do that every time, so that you're back to what we said. It's the repeating the vision. No one's lost in why. No one's lost in why.
Exactly.
I don't know. I don't know. I really have a question about this, but I have to repeat this, and I don't even know if this is part of your notes or not, but I have to. This is just an outstanding quote. So if you're listening right now, at some point, write this down. Opportunity outside of your vision is called a distraction. That is awesome, because I think maybe it hit me more than anybody, because I am glass half full guy.
Yep.
Everything's
an opportunity.
Everything is an opportunity. And I do believe there always is an opportunity.
Dining rooms closed. I've always wanted to go through the drive-through.
That's it. Like, there's always an opportunity. But man, if it's not tied to your vision, it's a distraction. Do you have anything else you want to talk? I think that's just a fantastic way to look at it from someone as high energy like me, who's always looking for, hey, you go. I find a way to do this.
And no one will say no unless your vision is compelling. If your vision is weak and it doesn't inspire you in any way, everything's a yes, because it seems better than the status quo. But as soon as you have that thing that you can get passionate about, like, just say for me, I am passionate about being someone's first church. I care immensely about that. And so there's been some things in our organization that, I'll say it like this, are good things and were healthy things that we no longer do, because they weren't the best way to do that. And I'm willing to give up what's good for the thing that I truly believe in at the end of the day.
I love it. That's fantastic. So we're going to wrap up episode 34, Vision, today. Incredible start to this series. I'm pumped for it. I can't wait.
Me
what do you
too.
want someone to leave with today knowing?
So I'd say I'll boil it down to this idea. If you don't have a vision, then you're not leading. You're just wandering around. Leadership takes people in a direction. And as it comes to vision, don't get bogged down in everything that everyone tells you your vision should be. Evaluate everything against this question: do I know where we are headed? If I know where we're headed, then that's a vision, and that's clear enough.
That's fantastic. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. If you are new to the podcast or haven't yet subscribed, it would mean the world to us. And I know we keep telling you that, but it really does do an incredible thing if you did that. Also, to post about it, rate about it. I saw a couple on social media today that were incredible. A couple quotes that they quoted and shared it on Facebook. It was really cool to see what they said about what they had learned from this. So if that's you, continue to do that and rate and review. You won't believe how that helps get this podcast in the hands of so many more leaders like you. And we love hearing your stories of how the podcast is working in your life and business. If you have a story, visit leadinghope.online and send that to us. We'd love to hear from you. And remember, everyone has 20 minutes to learn to become a better leader. Make it count.